What's up lads, Fish here. Today we're going back to where it all began with SCP Containment Breach. I've seen it slandered in videos recently, which, honestly made me really sad because the game is basically the reason why SCP is even as popular as it is today. So, I thought I'd make a video defending this game as much as I can because I genuinely love this game. Not only was it my first introduction to SCP as a concept, but it was also the first horror game I can ever remember playing, so in turn the first to give me some personal trauma. But enough of my own trauma, let's get into the video. Before we start, let's go over the game's different difficulty settings. There's 3 presets and a custom mode where you can modify the game to your liking. There's safe difficulty, puts the SCPs at their lowest aggression, and allows you to quick save whenever you want. This is a difficulty most people will choose when first starting out with the game, and I think it's definitely a good mode to see what basic things the game has to offer without that much difficulty. The Euclid difficulty keeps the SCP's aggression the same, but only allows you to save a lit up computer screens. This difficulty is often overshadowed by Kia, but I think Euclid provides ample challenge for someone who doesn't want to commit to the struggle of Kia, but still wants there to be some stakes, as one death could make you lose a lot of progress if you either forget to save or you can't. The Kia difficulty is the hardest in the game, putting the SCPs on their max aggression and doesn't allow you to save at all, meaning if you die once, it's game over. I personally believe Kia is the best way to experience Containment Breach, and you feel genuine fear about dying, and it makes the game a lot more daunting knowing that one bad move can mean you lose all the progress you've made. No! I fucking forgot! It gives you an insight to how someone in this situation would feel. Obviously I had less standard because we're not actually going to die. But it makes you feel about how you feel in such hopeless circumstances. Now, I'm going to assume you have a basic grasp on what SCP Containment Breach is, but just in case, here's a basic rundown. You are D9341, a D-class at Site 19, I think. During routine testing, the site loses power and your boys get snapped. And the game begins with the PA announcing the site is basically fucked. The first thing you'll see is one of the game's scripted events. These are scattered around the site and can range from some poor guys getting snapped, making it so you can take their lunch money, to a guard getting turned into tomato soup in an elevator. These events make the site seem alive, and it makes you feel like you're not the only one affected by the breach, because, well, you're not. There's 100 other people in the site being slaughtered by monsters, and you're only able to survive due to pure luck. It really helps to build the hopeless and depressing atmosphere the game is going for. The game builds upon this atmosphere in every aspect of its development, for all the ambience effects from people screaming, SCP stalking through walls. Every time one of the players cuts through the silent master ambience track and generally gets a jump out of me every now and then. The game has never consistently been able to make me feel so on edge after so much time playing it. Overall, the fundamental gameplay loop is pretty entertaining, scrounging around on test chambers for key cards and other useful items to help your survival, even grabbing some of the SCP items the Foundation keeps in a closet. Variety of items provides another dynamic to the gameplay and can be essential for survival, making the player think before just moving on to the next zone. Discovering what they did for the first time is probably the best part of the game for me, especially 1499, those things will be in my nightmares for years to come. This leads me on to another favourite part of the game, SCP-914. The machine can upgrade and downgrade items put inside it via the 5 settings on the dial. I can tell you how many videos I've seen of people experimenting with 914 and all the results you get with it. It was definitely one of mine and a lot of other people's most interesting part of the game, and I would spend hours on it seeing what else I could get out of it. Once you use 914 to get level 3 or Omni keycard, you have basically 3 variants like Containment Zone. There's a lot to explore, including items around the site, alluding to the mysterious lore and backstory of D9341. Honestly, I could spend hours talking about the lore, but people better than me have already made countless videos on it, so you can go watch them if you want to learn about the lore more in depth. I love finding these for the first time, and the sound key that plays when you find one of the lore items is perfect. Unnerving, but also oddly nostalgic in a way. Once you scrounge around enough to get a level 3 keycard, you can move on to the next zone by disabling the light containment zone lockdown, letting you and all the subjects contained within the zone out into the rest of the facility. Wait. All this talking, and I still haven't gone in depth about the SCPs themselves yet. It's mainly just a testament how well this game is designed, that there literally could just not be anything trying to kill you and it would still be an unnerving experience. However, this is not the case, and there are a few SCPs around the side that are trying to make you into a PB&J sandwich. First off, this 173, you know him, you have an opinion on him. It's a statue that only moves when a person is not currently looking at it, like those things in that one show that no one likes. 173 can use the vents around the side to move around at Mach speeds, even seeming like it teleports behind you in some situations. 173 can be quite annoying to deal with, especially when he hides around corners and snaps you from like 100 kilometers away. He promotes being careful around doors and timing your blinks to make sure you have enough time to walk away from him. Then there's 106, or as you probably know him, Larry. When he appears, you'll hear his music start to play and he'll come out the floor, giving you time to prepare to run or, just run. 106 has an extra sort of tenseness to the game, knowing that any second you could be being chased mercilessly by him. It's pretty terrifying. The only issue I have with him is that once you get 1499, he basically becomes obsolete, despawning once you put the mask on. 049 becomes active once you deactivate the light containment zone lockdown. He's fairly simple. If he touches you, you die. Despite his simplicity, he can make a lot of situations a lot more stressful with his presence. He's also the primary use for SCP-714, which makes it so you can't die from his touch unless he is stuck on you for a prolonged period. I always like it when in-game eyes have correlation with the NPCs. 049 even mentions it in a voice line if you never touched you long enough.
I'm here to cure you.
049 also creates 049-2 instances, but these are only seen once in his chamber and really what I do is slap you. It's not really that dangerous. Last but not least, there's SCP-196, your favourite skinny white guy. 196 activates what you see as a vent in the heavy containment zone. After this, he prowls around the corridors, usually behind closed doors. If you look at his face, he'll kill you. After quite a long wind-up. But when he starts hunting you, he doesn't stop. So you better be the next Usain Bolt if you want to escape from him. 196 mainly promotes taking things slow, make sure you don't rush and actually take a gander at his beautiful face. After escaping the light containment zone, you arrive at the heavy containment zone, and a static change from LCZ for sure. The walls and floors are mostly made out of metal for most of the zone, making it seem cold and empty. It's also home to one of the most mentally scarring events of the game. For me at least. The 16 shows a guard who unfortunately looks at 096's face and well... while the voice acting isn't the best, I love the guard's hopeless tone. As someone employed by the Foundation, he knows his failing can do nothing to stop it. It seems mainly what made 096 so scary to me when I first saw him. I remember actively avoiding this room whenever the event happens, because I could just not function without 096. There's a lot of other things that happen at HC, but for the sake of time I'll skip over them. You scrounge around the heavy containment zone until you get a level 5 keycard and can enter the entrance zone, a zone purely meant for the lowly archivists of the Foundation. When you first enter the zone, a PA announcement tells you
Task Force Unit Epsilon 11, designated Nine-Tailed Fox, has entered the facility.
this new threat arguably poses more of a threat to the player than the SCPs. If they see you for a second, you get shot and most likely die from the bleeding, if the bullets don't kill you first. Something cool about the MTF is that they will attempt to recontain SCPs loose in the site, although sadly they're only programmed to directly interact with 173 and the zombies, or just having voice lines for the other SCPs. The MTF also have a direct line to Mission Control, who can turn off Tesla gates for them and see you on the cameras, broadcasting your location to nearby MTF. Although sadly this doesn't come into play that much in game, it at least made me check each room for a camera to see if I can get spotted. And then some shenanigans happen with 079 where you turn off the remote door control and he offers you a deal for freedom. Now, I really like 079's characterization in Containment Breach. He's basically a charismatic piece of shit in a computer. He tricks you into giving him back control of the facility and going to your certain death at Gate B, disguising it as a deal to benefit you and him while he could not give less of a fuck if you live or not. At this point you can choose to follow 079's advice and go to Gate B, or go against him and go to Gate A, both granting different endings. There are 4 endings to Containment Breach, all depending on your actions on the site and what gate you choose to go through. Gate B has 2 bad endings, both ending in the player's demise. This can either be due to a nuclear warhead being detonated at the site or the MTF shooting the player in the back through a side door, the player disabled on road detonation earlier in the playthrough. Gate A's endings depend on whether or not the player contained 106 via the FEMA breaker. If the player has not recontained 106, he appears on the surface with the player, distracting the MTF long enough for the player to make it to one of the escape tunnels, where the Chaos Insurgency finds and extracts him. If the player has recontained 106, he does not appear on surface and the player gets captured by MTF. In the ending screen for this specific ending, we hear the player themselves get classified as an SCP, or at least it's heavily implied they get classified as an SCP, managing to survive all the horrors in the site in one life. There's a strange irony to this as we spend the whole game running from SCPs that are all horrifying monsters with a lust for death, but in the end we become one ourselves. The only issue I see with the endings is that Gate B could be seen as a bit of an anti-climax to all the player went through. But I think it's not intentional. These endings almost punish the player for being so gullible and trusting 079 in his deal. And with that, SCP Containment Breach ends. Honestly a phenomenal experience when I first played it, that watered down over countless playthroughs. I'm still not able to find enjoyment in the game playing it now though. The only real negatives I can think of with the game is that due to the engine the game is built on, Blitz 3D, the game is really buggy, especially by today's standards. Most of the glitches can be run ending with rooms clipping into each other, stopping the player from getting vital items or progressing in any way. There's even an achievement for beating the game without using the debug console because of how game-breakingly buggy it can be. These are very frustrating when they happen and can take away from the experience as a whole. You know, I know it seems like I'm biased, that's really all I can think of. The game can be a bit unfair sometimes, but that never really bothered me. Thank you for watching. This video ended up being a lot longer than I expected, so I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to check out some of my other videos on SCP games. Also, maybe subscribe. I'm hoping to be able to make videos sooner in the future, so you won't want to miss those. Or maybe you will, I don't know. If you want to see more of me in general, then make sure to go over to my Twitch, where I stream fairly often. I'm currently doing Containment Breach Key one, so comment down and say hello. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Adios.